Today follows the second part of the practical test of the Elite Brief diaper. In the first part I had already reported a positive impression, but could not test the diaper completely, that is, to its load limit. We make up for that today. Because the special thing is that the manufacturer promises a suction capacity of 9.5 liters, of course, these are laboratory tests under optimal conditions, which we diaper wearers will never reach, but still, this is a remarkable value. I've used 3/4 of a pack of the Elite Briefs by now. The film diaper is pleasantly soft and comfortable to wear, and that impression hasn't changed. The reusable adhesives are also impeccable. They can be placed well and hold firmly, although they are rather average in size, not arguably much larger as you might expect for a diaper with particularly high absorbency. By the way, it does not feel extremely thick, so it is by no means the case that a diaper that is twice as absorbent is automatically twice as thick or feels significantly thicker. I have had this experience with other products, such as the North Shore Mega Max. Both diapers are empty, not overly thick, but they are generously cut and cover a lot, especially in the area of the buttocks, so you still feel securely wrapped. But when you use the diaper, the Elite Brief has no problem at all absorbing the liquid. In fact, it does so quite quickly. The first few times it's absorbed right in the same spot, so there's not much need for it to flow through the diaper at all. Especially the first time wetting in, it hardly felt wet, which surprised me after just a complete bubble went in. Others feel much more full there. This second part took its time, because it wasn't at all easy to test out the diaper to the max. I had the problem several times of having to take the diaper off for other reasons, even though it hadn't leaked yet. Why I did that, you will be able to guess in a moment. You can now see the diaper after several bubble loads and then what it looked like just before I changed it. I think it doesn't show up so well in the video in the front, but in the back you can see a little better how much the diaper was pulled down by its heavy weight and how big it has become in terms of volume. It is no longer inconspicuous. You already have trouble to pull pants over it, but you can still see the thick buttocks immediately. I took the pictures when the diaper was changed before it was completely full. Here it already weighed 1.8 to 1.9 kilograms and has not yet leaked, so you could have continued to wear it, at least if you are at home, because on the road is such a full diaper in my opinion no longer really suitable for everyday life. Later, I'll show you the weight of the fullest Elite Brief when it started to leak in my test. It is already clear that it is superior to many other diapers, at least in terms of absorbency. But in the test I noticed that it is important to make sure that the diaper fits well and tightly, and by that I don't just mean when you put it on, but also later, because it slips over time due to the weight, especially if you move around to boot. Initially, I had not paid consistent attention to it and then it leaked on the legs sometimes, not because the diaper was full, but because the fit was not good and it therefore ran past. I suspect a bodysuit might be helpful here. I'd like to try that in the future. I only did this test with regular pants over the diaper to see when it leaked. But the adhesives held. The problem was only in the seat, but this shows that I think we are slowly reaching a limit here. A diaper this full is not only noticeable, but can also be uncomfortable to wear, especially towards the end, at least for a long time. Of course, it always depends on the circumstances, but depending on the circumstances, I would question whether it makes sense to wear such a diaper in everyday life and especially to push it to the limit. To be clear, technically, the diaper is great. It has an extremely high absorbency and is therefore probably the most absorbent diaper I have tested so far. The final result, 2.6 kilograms, that's a lot. Technically, I am impressed with this diaper. Price-wise, a pack of 10 is €34.90, which makes €3.49 per diaper, not a bargain if you only look at the absolute figure, although it is normal that a higher price is due for a higher suction performance. In relation to the high suction power, I find this acceptable, but just at the point you should ask yourself the question, can I use this diaper to the full? Because the price-performance ratio deteriorates, of course, if you cannot and have to dispose of the diaper when it is, for example, only half full. I don't want to badmouth the diaper at all, but just look at it realistically in practice, which should also be part of a practical test somewhere. As I said, it is the highest suction I've ever had, In that respect it is clearly super and comfortable to boot, but it is in my opinion only conditionally suitable for everyday use. If you are at home for a day, or maybe spend Sunday in bed or on the sofa without having to change, then nothing speaks against the Elite Brief. Or even if you don't know exactly how long you'll be on the road and inconspicuousness isn't that important because you're in the car, for example. It is most comparable with the North Shore Mega Max. I had it already in size S and M in the test. Here you see the S, which I have freshly reordered. The Mega Max is also comparatively thin, but can still absorb a lot of liquid. Felt a little less than the Elite Brief, but it costs less, especially since it is also somewhat more inconspicuous as well as more comfortable to wear when full. Thus, I find it more useful in everyday life, at least if you are out of the house and therefore would like to be rather inconspicuous, so a possible alternative. If those things are not important, then the Elite Brief is the better choice.